horrible start.
Cookie Monster. All right, so we got
Cookie
2 Clots on the side of Cookie Monster, and we've got a Platinum Diamond on the side of Silver Scrapes. So close enough, guys. Close
sounds good.
enough. But for the third and most likely potential last time of the night, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. For those of you who are new, I'll probably have to give you a minute before I go through all of that. But it is going to be Orianna, the first ban this time around. She's very rarely played, and maybe just trying to ban out Lord Reeves and all of his mid laners, which is nearly impossible.
Possibly. Yeah, with a pool as deep as Reeves has, you really can't ban him completely out. Although, if you're taking away some of the control mages, might be what they're aiming for. We'll see what the follow-up bans are from Phantom Temp here.
As you wish.
Janna gone from Cookie Monster.
No, it was taken away from Hurricane Janna. So Hurricane Janna on Silver Scrapes doesn't get her Janna. That's one of the issues with having a username that includes the name of your favorite champion. Unless
it's not her favorite champion and it's a fake out.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is you purposely put in your name, the name of your champion that you hate playing against, and that way it always gets banned against you free of charge, and you never have to play it because everyone always bans it. Pretty good plan. All right, Janna.
Yeah, good strat.
I see how you're doing, Hurricane Janna. I see what you're doing. Taking away the Nami as well. Looks like a supportable pinch here between Cookie Monster and Silver Scrapes. Taking away Blitzcrank as well, so knocking them out. Now, Kai'Sa's been a lot of discussion about her. Is she too strong? Is she too weak? She's gotten some changes. Her rockets don't work the way that they used to. Where do you think she sits on the ADC tier list?
Honestly, I don't think she's in them. I think she's a little bit above middle right now. Of course, I don't end up playing against her very often because she's pretty much 100% ban rate against me. I don't know why. For some reason, she always gets banned in my games. No clue. But I haven't had the chance to play as much against her, but I'd say she's a little above middling. Especially if you can team her up with any of the supports that buff her. I'm thinking the Enchantresses, which have all been banned out by Cookie Monster, actually, with that Lulu gone as well.
Diana picked up by Phantom of Temp, most likely for the mid lane, but has played her in the top lane as well. Good at gap closing distance, and I think that Phantom of Temp is one of the players who brings some of the most unique and interesting champions to the Rift, pulling out the Nocturne, even though he didn't get to play it that one game. Now pulling out Diana. Plays a lot of different heroes. Had one game decimated on an Ashe bottom lane 80 carry role, hitting those Enchanted Crystallayers over and over. And the Anivia was not banned. So, of course, Reeves just auto-locks the Anivia for the jungle. I mean, Reeves' jungle Anivia is just something to fear. And by that, I'm kind of confused because he's got jungle smites on. I'm not even sure.
And now he's back to teleport, so he's back to mid lane there. But I was concerned about that smite for about a quarter second there. Picking up the Vi for Jinky Toast there. He is still holding on teleport, so I'm not sure if he's going to trade that to somebody else or play Vi in the top lane. I don't see that very often anymore, of course, with everybody realizing how good she is in the jungle. But a reminder that she was originally designed for the top lane. So we'll see if she's going to be sticking up there and revisiting her old home. As No Free Names locks in the Amumu. I love Amumu. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Amumu, yeah, his pairing with certain heroes is so ridiculously strong by blocking all of them up in that AoE, as well as his bandage toss has such a massive distance and he never gets played, so nobody expects it to come flying a mile out of nowhere and hit you, CC you for the entire length that he comes flying in. It's pretty darn strong. In combination with a Jinx whose AoE rockets are going to be laying waste to the entire enemy team when he locks them into a 5-man ultimate underneath the Baron with the Anivia ult running. It's chaos in the game! Oh, sorry, I got a little excited. We're not there yet. But
it's okay. No, I'm actually a little disappointed in Silver Scrapes now because they're the one that banned out the Orianna. One of my favorite combinations with Amumu is for my wife to throw the ball on me when she's playing an Orianna. I go in with that bandage toss, I ult, she ults. And she gets the bonus true damage from the curse on there, and then everybody comes into one spot. And if you had that with the Jinx per se, you fire that super mega death rocket in there to follow it up, and that's a very potent wombo combo. And I'm wondering if they're gonna throw that Diana into into another role, maybe put it in the top lane. Now, we are seeing a cleanse right now, so probably not.
My light puns would have brightened your day.
We'll have to find out. That is going to be even more support bans away. They are just targeting Hurricane Janna in every way, shape, and form, taking out the Soraka, taking out the support Lux as well. So the question that stands is, what does Janna have left to play? We'll find out in just a couple more picks as we get the last ban from Silver Scrapes, which is going to be the Thresh, which pinches the pool even more for poor Janna. And Cookie Monster could pick up their support right now, but instead it is going to be a Mundo, leaving the very last 2 picks of the game to the supports at the very, very end.
The Garen coming out from Sakura Sammy there. Into Dr. Mundo. This is going to be a very, very wet, slappy top lane with both of the regen that both of those champions bring. Mundo does use his health as a resource, so Garrett does get in on him. We are going to see a good little charge in there. Morgana picked up by Hurricane Janna. I know you like your Morgana, Jake. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I like Morgana, well, in specific roles and against specific champions. And one of the reasons that I like her in this game is because of the Vi. Jinky Toast on that Vi, going to be wanting to use the Assault and Battery on Jinx, who's not necessarily known for the most mobile of champions. Vi will still fly in, but the knock-up as well as a lot of the initial damage will be knocked off of that Assault and Battery. In addition to that, Anivia going to be throwing out those stuns. All Morgana needs to do is throw that Black Shield on Jinx, keep her alive, keep her from being CC'd, and she can deal the damage. The nice thing is that if she's in no danger, and because there really isn't any true assassin on the side of Cookie Monster, you can throw it onto the Garen or the Amumu. Let that frontline tank add even more CC to the mix. A silence to Anivia to stop her ultimate, or the Mumu going in not even worried about the slows or the stuns because he's got the Black Shield just to get on the entire enemy team and throw down that ultimate. But it looks like both teams are wanting to have a lot of team fight power. The front line, the tanks, Mundo and Sion, the mid line of the damage dealers, Ezreal and Jinx, and Anivia and Diana, and then you have the back line supports of Morgana, and, well, Vi's not really a support. She's kind of a frontline tank too. But we'll get into that in just a minute. Let's go and roll through the players and their champions real quickly. For Silver Scrapes, which is probably my top favorite team name right now that I've ever casted. Phantom of Temp playing Diana for most likely the mid lane. No free names, taking Mumu in the jungle. Rito, please add Urf. I absolutely agree. Taking Jinx in the bottom lane AD carry role. Sakura Sammy, thank you for playing tonight. Playing the Garen in the top lane. And last but not least, Hurricane Janna coming out with the Morgana bottom lane supportive role.
And then over on the side of Team Cookie Monster, we have Lord Reeves with his trademark Anivia in the mid lane. Vi is going to be in that top lane, actually. Jinky Toast locking in the teleport instead of the smite, which is on Commander C's Dr. Mundo in the jungle, with Ezreal and Sion in the bot lane, played by Paiute and Straightjacket. So an interesting choice having the Vi in the top lane against the Garen and leaving Mundo to the jungle.
Yeah, normally you would think that it'd be the Vi in the jungle, Mundo in the top lane, but they could be trading it around just to confuse the players on the other side and see what they change. And the other thing about that is that Vi is actually surprisingly good at farming. Her E does that AoE damage through minion waves, so she can not only poke and harass with that, especially against a melee champion like Garen, but she can clear minion waves and push them in very, very quickly. Nice thing about Mundo in the jungle, it's really the only trait in the Mundo jungle, is that if he can land that first cleaver, he's just going to continue to land cleaver after cleaver and give a really good slow. I mean, it stacks up to what? I think 70% when it's fully stacked. Cleaver that just slows you down. You will never be able to escape him when he comes out of the jungle. And he does have his ultimate that because he's in the jungle and he's not 1v1ing against somebody else, he doesn't mind burning that ultimate just to give him more sustain to stay in the jungle longer and pick up some more of that extra farm. We'll see how he does this game. But against an Amumu, who I believe farms way faster than Mundo, I think that Mumu could win out in a 1v1 fight if he decides to try to invade on the Mundo.
Amumu definitely has the 1v1 advantage, especially with his percent max health damage on his spare, on his W. The stun, and here's the other thing about the Vi versus Mundo. as far as who to take in the jungle if you're Cookie Monster. Vi has a way to get over walls. Mundo does not. If Mundo wants to get over a wall, he doesn't even have flash. He took exhaust to go with it instead of the flash. So Mundo does not have a way to get over walls, whereas Vi, if she were in the jungle, would be able to charge up and just dash over the walls. So that is something to keep in mind, is that Amumu does have a little bit more mobility than Dr. Mundo as well when he's going through his initial clears.
All right, now we are launching into games. If you are new, first of all, welcome Paiute for joining this stream. You're probably not going to stick around long because you're going to want to get into game, but I appreciate you dropping by if you are still here. We do these castings every Tuesday night that anyone can jump in and play, and that is not Wraith, that is Salic. I will fix that if Salic casts with me next time because I can do a better job. Overlays are suck.
Overlays are wonderful. You just gotta have certain parts editable, apparently, and we weren't anticipating having to edit it.
Yes, I thought that I was making life easy for myself by going to make everything all one image, which is just makes it so that I don't have to worry about editing anything. It just all is there. But instead, it turns out that I do have to worry about editing stuff because when new people come in, it changes everything.
Look at the bright side. At least you're not having to worry about something crazy like a TriCast.
TriCast? Like the pros do?
Like the pros do in tournaments, yeah.
I could probably build an entirely new overlay from ground up just for that.
Yeah, you could, but why? All right. So, got the nice little loading screen flares here for all of our wonderful diamonds, plat, and gold there.
I'm trying to close out of this little Discord mini server that showed up. I forget, it's supposed to be that you just hit the shift plus and then the little tag, but it's not going away.
Huh.
It's not showing up on the stream, so I could shoutcast without it, but it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. I love the regifted Amumu, first off. No free names. Love it. Alright. So, let's move everybody around here.
Launching into game number 3, it is going to be Silver Scrapes versus Cookie Monster for the third and final game of the night. We've got a lot of people playing some potentially interesting new roles. We talked about maybe that it was going to be some crazier picks, but it looks like people are trying to pick a little bit more normal. Just a few off-meta heroes. You've got the Mumu coming out, as well as the Mundo Jungle, Commander C picking that one up. And he does feel like he is cursed to always lose games. We'll see if that holds true, as Lord Reeves is on his #1 hero of the Anivia. But is it going to be a Reeves invade, but from the side of Silver Scrapes? That is the question, as Sakura Sammy leads the blue team into... Oh, they're going to just pass by each other. As the pros always say, like, 2 ships in the night. That's like the only phrase that they say when it comes to teams passing by each other. And they do. There's no vision. Either team has had on each other. So they're just going to literally walk in a circle around each other, invade the other person's jungle, and probably come to the conclusion that the other team's doing the exact same thing.
Advantage so far to Cookie Monster. They dropped the ward.
Oh, that's such a massive advantage. That's actually almost unable to come back. They placed 2 wards down. One in the bush by red buff and one red buff, and one near the turret, mid-tier turret. But it looks like they will just steal each other's buffs, respectively. I'm wondering if the top laners are going to teleport, at least for the side of Cookie Monster. And it looks like Vi is going to burn that teleport. And now, one of the notes on that is that Garen did not see her use that teleport. They had no vision of that. So for all of Silver Scrape's knowledge, there is no teleport that was used. In the meantime, though, Paiute maybe trying to get some damage down onto Rito. Please, Moment coming in from the side for a level 2 gank. Mundo here as well, as Rito Please is going to get some good damage
Hurricane
onto the
Janna
Ezreal. Burning away, flashing heal. Hurricane Janna super low. One more cleaver could be enough, but no free names trying to CC him away. Bandage toss not going to be up. Now Straight Jacket in the bottom lane, playing that support Scion again. We saw him last game, didn't do so well. Maybe we'll do better this time around, as it is a Morgana support that he is up against. And it looks like with all of the crazy action and the double invades, no first blood starting us off.
No deaths after all of that chaos in the early game, and that is legitimately surprising. Normally you see something come out when the two ships eventually collide with each other coming back from their invades. And that was quite the fireworks that kicked off in bot lane, but still no deaths out of it. Nice wave being built up by Sakura Sammy in the top lane. We'll see if she can push that under tower and maybe force Jinky Toast to give up some CS under tower.
Garen pushing the top lane pretty hard. However, he is facing off against that Vi, who's going to be a little bit slower to farm. In the mid lane, and Nivea getting some nice poke onto Phantom of Temp. Now, this is a matchup that I have seen several times before. Lord Reese versus Phantom of Temp. When you've got a plat player versus a silver player, you'd be surprised that Phantom of Temp actually can hold his own on occasion.
Well, that's the thing, is a lot of the time, if you got that, if you see those ranks, you'll underestimate the actual skill of your opponent, or just plain disrespect them. And while Reeves isn't much fun to throw too much disrespect around,
I do have to say that one of my favorite things about this game is the fact that both teams are fully in comms on the Discord, making sure to communicate with each other, know where everything is going to. Now, Hurricane Janna moving forward. Just going to sidestep the knockup from Straight Jacket. Nicely positioning. Does throw out the shield as well, getting some explosive damage, but going to take a huge chunk back. And that was not the most advantageous trade.
no, not a solid trade at all. Straight Jacket did manage to get some solid damage down onto the two of them, and he's doing a good job of poking this game, whereas last game he wasn't really able to get that off.
By going in on the Garen, getting some nice poke, but needs to be careful to not lose too much farm, even with all of the poke, because it could eventually come back to bite her.
Indeed, already 6 CS down with a wave pushing in towards Garen.
In the bottom lane, a little bit of a slow onto Hurricane Janna. Black Shield onto the Jinx very early on, which should give Paiute the opportunity just to continue to harass with those Qs. But instead, they're just focusing on the farm. So fairly even so far in the game. The Mummy is headed towards the bottom lane, the sad little Mumu. No free names, headed down here. Not maybe necessarily for an engage, but his bottom lane is pushed in pretty hard. Rito very low, actually. An opportunity for Ezreal to maybe try to get in, but
Ezreal has no vision of that, and now sees a Mumu.
Yeah, so it looks like the Mummy not going to engage in the bottom lane. Instead, just kind of waiting for his support and ADC to back and play it safe. But they're continuing to move forward, and Rito really needs to be careful because one Arcane Shift from Ezreal could spell the end of Jinx.
Arcane Shift from Ezreal, Straight Jacket, knocking back the minions can also do some serious poke damage, especially if that's what Straight Jacket decides to level up first. Let's see here. He's got 2 ranks into that Roar the Slayer right now.
Phantom of Temp taking a little bit of poke in the mid lane. Mundo here as well. Commander C looking for the slow. Phantom of Temp wisely just using the cleanse to get out of the CC from the Anivia, but saving the flash.
Sammy did teleport back to lane, now 14, 15 CS, or I'm sorry, 11, my bad. I can't do math today, 19, dear heavens.
I was about to say that's definitely not 11, but I'm not worried about it because No Free Names is taking some damage in the bottom lane, forcing to back up. However, Mundo is here as well, so there's opportunity for Commander C to try to get some action in underneath the turret. The zap going to land onto the Mundo after the Dark Binding had already hit. But it looks like Rito, please that nerf, is going to be forced to recall, which should give plenty of free time for Cookie Monster to damage away the turret. Now Sammy underneath the turret uses the ult. Beautiful play. Baits Vi in, knowing that she can damage him underneath the turret. But after taking one turret shot, just throws down the ultimate, cleans up the Vi for first blood, and feeling confident now continues to stack up that gold lead by hitting down the turret.
It is worth noting Amumu might be paying another visit down to bot lane sometime soon, as he did force the Flash out of straitjacket during that gank before.
Ezreal still has heal and flash, so feeling pretty good with that, as well as now picking up the tier and a pickaxe, so not a bad back for the Ezreal. Feeling pretty good. Also 10 farm above the Jinx, so there is some opportunity for him to shut down the Jinx, who actually went BF sword for the very early start, and I actually give damage advantage over to the Jinx.
Damage advantage definitely goes over to the Jinx. The question is if the Ezreal can stay at his maximum range, stay poking with the, go in with the Arcane Shift on rare occasions, but primarily poke with the Mystic Shot. That's where you'll see things as we get an engage on Lord Reeves here.
Yep, Mundo flashing and, not Mundo, I'm sorry, the Mumu flashing, and Lord Reeves may go down. He has been egg formed, but the red buff is burning away. Minions taking away onto Phantom of Temp, but he doesn't even care. And Nivea's already gone. No free names getting credit for that kill. Nicely done. The flash bandage toss didn't work. However, the slows, especially after he auto-attacked with the red buff, enough to take out Lord Reeves in the mid lane. So now, 2 kills over to Silver Scrapes.
Well, it's like we were talking about earlier during game 1, too. Lord Reeves immediately flashed when the flash bandage toss came through from no free names. So he's got a timer on Amumu's flash as well, and kept him alive for another second.
Now, interesting that he would flash forward, trying to deal enough damage to finish off Phantom of Temp when he could have flashed backwards and tried to just get back to his own turret. And Nivea, not the most mobile of champions, a little bit on the slower side, is 10 farm over the Diana, though. So maybe Lord Reeves, just feeling confident, wanted to push his own advantage a little bit further.
That was a lot of poke damage that Rydell Please at Earth just took. Straitjacket gets a Roar of the Slayer there, and Paiute follows it up with a Mystic Shot. Chunked him down to 60% health, just like that.
Hurricane Janet trying to do what she can to defend in the bottom lane, but as a Morgana, there's not a whole lot that you can do without just literally killing minions, trying to push back Cookie Monster until you get some good damage. Yep, and that's going to be Mundo going down. Wow! Walks in just in time to throw down the ult and pick up his own kill. In the meantime, though, in the bottom lane, it is now 3 members pushing onto the turret, but forced back out. Morgana getting some good harass down onto...
Oh! The anticipation!
Rito, please add nerf. Beautiful play. Flashes with the heal as well, but the last auto attacks aren't enough to take out Ezreal. Very close. Diana coming in, trying to close the distance. Will she be able to get in? Trying to get up to just start with that Q. Looks like won't be able to get us. The Ezreal should be able to get out fine, but Jinx with a really, really good play of that Super Mega Death Rocket.
Oh, and the CC chain brings down Reeves there. Wow. Great binding by Hurricane Janna there. Fantastic follow-up from No Free Names. And that is a free Drake.
So definitely advantage so far. Very strongly over to Silver Scrapes. They are now going to be 5-1 with a Wind Drake on top of things. And really, it's just not looking great for Cookie Monster unless the Anivia truly comes online. Because late game, if she isn't online, it's very difficult to get much done, besides just general farming.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that they've got a couple of really heavy scaling champs that don't really have too much of a lane bully, except for that Vi, who kind of use that assault battery like he's doing right now to poke.
Garen taking down the minions 2-0-0, feeling very confident. Still has a litany of small items in his inventory, but Phantom Temp going in onto Lord Reeves gets him down to half health. I don't believe there's still an egg form on the Anivia, but the Diana playing it safe, backing out. The Mummy has shown up. Don't think it's going to be anything there.
This is the bandage toss, though.
Pretty easy. Let's call it off, you know, when you miss that skill shot.
Yep.
But that didn't work. Mundo heads toward the bottom lane, looking for a cleaver. Not going to land, though, on the Janna. Will just step onto one of those traps from the Jinx. Flaming Chompers. And that will completely disengage the fight.
No Free Names just walking up to Reeves with no assistance in that lane whatsoever. What is he doing?
Trying to get the minions, I do believe. He was holding the minions for Diana to come back and be able to pick those up. But in very deep threatened, Commander C2121 to come in for a gank. However, because Lord Reeves went in so hard dealing good damage to the Diana, Phantom of Temp decided to just play it safe, back off, and he wasn't in a dangerous spot when Commander C showed up. Going in on the mid lane, Lord Reeves knocked down to a quarter health. Phantom of Temp needs to just play it safe and smart. Is down a little bit in farm, but overall doing well, 0-0-2, and just needs to know when to make those engages to actually go in for the kill, or when to just harass the Anivia out of lane.
Yep, you see mid lane, Phantom of Temp is here in bot lane.
Is going to be seeing Straight Jacket, though, decides not to go in onto the Diana, so she's going to be backing off, headed back towards the mid lane. Oh, Hurricane Janet taking some good damage. The Roar of the Slayer from the Scion doing a nice job. So let's talk a little bit about the laning phase, because right now, laning phase-wise, Silver Scrapes is doing a really good job. Is it on Cookie Monster's kind of roster to change up the laning phase to try to group towards a Drake or make an event happen somewhere else, like a Scion engaging onto the Jinx? She's all alone. Morgana has already backed. That's actually a really big reason why I wait for the ADC to finish backing before I back myself, because when you lose an ADC like that, that's really, really bad.
Well, and as you were talking about things they need to change up during the laning phase, they change it up and come and smash the bot lane to open up that tower.
Commander's in the top lane trying to defend Jinky Toast from this unstoppable Garen so far. He is a monster. 30 and a half farm over the Vi on Cookie Monster, and just continuing to crush this laning phase. Flashes in, he's got the ultimate. The flash from Jinky Toast, though, disengages it, and Sammy decides to go ahead and back out, but now Straight Jacket in trouble. That's one snare. The bandage shot's gonna stun, and Sammy flies in just for the ultimate to grab that kill for himself. Silver Scrapes making some nice movements in the top side, getting some wards down, getting that vision around the Rift Herald, but max range Dark Binding starts the ultimate as well. That's going to be a Mumu stealing away the kill on the Mundo, snaring up Pyroot as well. The Ezreal needs to be safe, backing up just to throw out all of those Qs. The flash forward from No Free Names keeps him safe for the moment. Phantom Temp coming in from the side as well, jumping in. Good damage to Lord Reeves. One more Q should be enough. Not going to land. The Dark Binding from Morgana going to miss as well. And so the fight disengages from Silver Scrapes. It's just allowing those minions to crash onto that first tier turret, as it is still standing without taking too much damage.
It's not taking much damage now, but with 4 members up in top side, they're now moving back down towards the mid lane, back into their jungle, and allowing Cookie Monster to clear out the minions there. They had a slight window of opportunity to do something. Oh my gosh, that binding was disgusting.
Another great binding by Hurricane Janna, max range and able to pick up the Ezreal, just adding to Sammy's repertoire and kill count. He's going to go in just onto the turret, finishing it off, might as well, and that's going to give them, I believe, second turret of the game, because it was Cookie Monster who picked up the first turret in the bottom lane.
Yep. And now blue side is starting to play around their advantages, with Sammy being 4-0-0 with an 3-1-0 Amumu as well. The two of them teaming up and moving wherever they want to go on the map. That's 2 massive tanks, one of which with for built-in % health damage that will be able to capitalize on whatever weaknesses they can find and exploit on Cookie Monster.
Lord Reeves going around the side. Sammy looking for an engage, but the red buff is already gone, so there's no reason to fight this out. Lord Reeves getting a nice stun onto Sammy. Can they get enough damage? There's no flash on the Garen, but
the Scion ultimate down there.
That's one of those times it's almost worth it to hit the blast cone early, even though it doesn't give you much advantage, just to keep him from going over the wall with it. Because that was a really wise play from the Garen.
Yep. Absolutely. He gets over that wall, gets completely out, and burns an ultimate in the process from the enemy team.
So 8 kills to 2. Silver Scrapes decently well in the lead, but Payu doing some good damage onto Sammy, just grabbing that extra poke. One of those things for Garen is he wants to regen, but he has to be out of combat for a period of time. And Ezreal, with those Mystic Shot pokes, are going to be able to just kind of keep him in line. It does look like Silver Scrapes, though, is going to go for a Drake, the Ocean Drake. No, sorry, Mountain Drake. I apologize. Just going to make it easier for them to take down structures, but it's going to be a trade, as Cookie Monster is going to be able to pick up the Rift Herald.
Yep, that Rift Herald going over to Cookie Monster should give them an advantage, make them able to take down one of these towers that they've got here on the outer, or if they really feel gutsy, they could always go down and further push in bot lane. Looks like they were moving 3 strong. Never mind, window backing.
Yeah, moving in, bottom lane, Silver Scrapes getting some pretty good damage onto the turret. Not quite able to take it out just yet, though. Need the ADC to be able to poke past the minion wave to continue to harass it down. But 2,000 gold in the lead. Silver Scrapes feeling good. Just need to continue to make confident plays. Be able to know this is something that we can engage on and that we will benefit from. Otherwise, it could stall out a whole lot longer. And very, very late game, Vi, Jinx, Sion, all of these heroes can come online. So you need to be careful about how long it takes you to start scaling.
Especially that Vi. The Vi, out of the 3 you mentioned, the Vi is the one that I would be most concerned about if I were playing against. Because she doesn't seem like much early on in the game. But if she's played well, she can, especially with those get excited resets, can tear you apart in the late game.
Indeed. Now 4 members strong from Silver Scrapes holding down the mid lane, trying to get a little bit of siege onto the mid-tier turret, but Cookie Monster has their number and is defending. Sion decides to go in. Unstoppable Onslaught goes for the Mumu. Just an extra knock up. Assault and Battery as well takes out one. Phantom Attempt trying to assassinate Payu on the back line, but not close enough. Flashing forward. The Exhaust not going to be able to do much. Jinky Toast now on the run. The Dark Binding takes out Straight Jacket. Jinx getting credit for that kill, as Rito, please add nerf, just going to be kiting the zombie Sion backwards. And team fight definitely won by Silver Scrapes, as the Ezreal does get ulted but doesn't die. Jumps backwards straight into a zap from the Jinx. Still doesn't die though. Able to jump himself with Arcane Shift to save it for the moment, but he is out of the fight, which means that dead third tier, turret for Cookie Monster should be able to go down.
And I love Payu managed to get the heal off there before the Garen ultimate actually landed and kept himself alive through the abilities he took thereafter. So an excellent job by that, as Mundo drops the Rift Herald in the top lane. Deals some pretty good damage, but it is not going to be able to capture that tower. So Cookie Monster lets the Rift Herald really put away. If you're not taking a tower with that, yeah, it does some good damage, but you're not actually taking the tower. It's really dope.
Yeah, it may just be one of those cooldown moments that you held on to it for too long, couldn't find something advantageous, so you may as well put it down so it does something over nothing. Even just one toss. No, Jinky Toast able to clean up a kill onto the Diana. Nicely done. Phantom Attempt has fallen, but that's going to be the Mumu as well. Hurricane Janna on the run, sets up the Black Shield, so avoids a little bit more damage, but the Vi continues her rampage triple kill, finishing off the Morgana. I may not be able to knock you up, but I can still do a massive amount of damage, and able to now pick up 3 kills, 4-1-0. The laning Vi, Jinky Toast, is doing really well this game.
Very well, and sitting on that Trinity Force, able to take advantage of that gap closer with Vault Breaker in order to get the empowered auto attack off there. Get the kill instead of giving it over to Reeves, which, you know, Reeves sitting 0-2-5 right now. Not where we're used to seeing Lord Reeves.
And before the last fight, it was actually 1,000 gold in the favor of Silver Scrapes, but it is now traded hands as Cookie Monster is going to take 1,000 gold lead. Sammy in the mid lane trying to defend, able to get some good damage down onto the Sion, but that's his job, is to tank everything up. So he is doing his job when he is taking damage and his teammate is not. Ezreal was able to finish the Trinity Force, and Manamune, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's taking damage, but he's still pretty squishy for a Sion. His health is not where I would normally put it to be at the 20-minute point in the game. He's finally finished his Lock of the Iron Solari, and he's also got his armor boots. But he's still not as tanky as you would normally like to see him at this point in the game, especially with that Diana and Morgana on the enemy team able to deal consistent damage.
Little dark binding from Hurricane Janet just to help out take down the blue buff. Phantom of Temp picking that one up. The Baron has spawned, so both teams are aware that they could try to rush it down or try to pick it up, but having vision around it is most important because you want to see if the enemy team is doing something, and if they are, what it is that they're doing. A little pull back onto Lord Reeves underneath the turret, going to give him a pretty good chunk of damage, but Phantom of Temp in trouble because one more Icicle from Lord Reeves should be able to finish him off. It was only an auto attack, not quite enough, so the Diana lives for now, but Lord Reeves definitely can still output some really good damage.
Well, and that was the Icicle. It looked like while the Icicle was in flight, the Frostbite actually wore off of Diana, so it wasn't the empowered damage. Is why that didn't kill the killing blow there.
In the mid lane, Cookie Monster collecting to try to defend. They are picking for the team to join them. The Scion Straight Jacket moving up as well. But the real question is, are either of these teams going to try to rush for a Drake? They're going to find Morgana. Hurricane Jana caught out, able to be taken down. Jinx quick to follow as well. And Silver Scrapes is not where they should be.
They're not where they should be, and the police managed to take down take down Jinx this time. I love that assault and batter. I love the Vault Breaker straight into the assault and battery onto the Jinx. Beautiful play by Dinky Toast there to make sure that they got that Jinx under control so she couldn't just free fire on the back line. And we've got an Infernal Drake.
Yeah, Infernal Drake started up by Cookie Monster about the 23-minute mark into the game. Sammy trying to be that tanky front line as well as on hand with the Mummy. They have gone in though. Garen's picked up one. Vi is already gone. And the Mummy picks it up regardless. That's going to give it over to Silver Scrapes as they are going to not win the fight. Cookie Monster still comes out with a man advantage despite Garen picking up a double kill. He has now been shut down 6-1-0. Dark binding onto Ezreal, but other than a little poke, I don't think Jan's going to be doing much with that.
It's not that anything too big, but Silver Scrapes, even though they've been kind of throwing this mid game away right now, if they can stall this out until the Elder Dragon comes around, this may be a huge advantage they can push with 3 Elemental Drakes.
And yeah, that Jinx continuing to deal a little bit of damage. Super Mega Death Rocket just enough to finish off Commander C21, who had nothing left in his tank but to try to walk back to the base and just got shot in the back, taken out. That's a pretty dirty move, Jinx.
There's reason that Vi's chasing her.
Is it on his, Sorry. So, blue team, Silver Scrapes, starting to group around the Baron. Cookie Monster trying to get vision. Both teams do actually have vision on Baron itself, but they're still fighting that vision war, trying to clear out the enemy's wards and get more of their own in place. And the Scuttle Crab actually goes over to Silver Scrapes, which gives them a little bit of that unkillable vision if Cookie Monster tries to do anything super cheesy and take it out. However, if there's anyone cheesy enough, I would say that Silver Scrapes, because Jinx makes it so much easier to take out a Baron as long as you have one person taking it up. That Gatling gun is going to do really good damage.
Gatling gun, especially when it's empowered by that Infinity Edge, that is a massive piece of work.
I got sidetracked because I was thinking about Infinity Stone instead of Infinity Edge. That how strong would Jinx be if she picked up the Infinity Gauntlet? In the meantime, though, Lord Reeves here to defend the mid lane. That's one of the things about mid to late game against Nivea. It's so hard to push minions in because that Nivea can just throw down the ultimate for a short period of time and clear an entire wave. So, no free names moving in, though. Hurricane Jana landing another root. That's going to guarantee a kill onto the Nivea. And now Jinky Toast in trouble. Already went in very deep. That Samurai throwing down the ultimate, finishing off the Scion. Another route as well to guarantee Straight Jacket can't do anything. And Silver Scrapes gets the pick that they're looking for, and the fight is over. They're now moving up towards Baron. There could be an opportunity for Cookie Monster to try something, but it's so unlikely. The flash from Phantom Temp, he's going to fall, but it doesn't matter. He sacrificed his own life to kill the jungler on the enemy team, and that's what you want. You don't want it to be a 50-50. You want to know that your team is the one that's going to be able to pick up that neutral buff.
And like we were talking about a second ago, you got somebody to tank it in Sakura and somebody to just shred through the Baron with the Jinx there.
Oh, Morgana poking away on the Ezreal, is able to pick him up. Just the Dark Binding and the Ignite ticking away. And there it is, Sammy trying to tank it up as Earth going to just continue to do damage. I'm surprised they didn't finish it off though.
They had it so low, they could have, I mean, no free names was low. They could have at least tried, but nope. They decided to peel off the Baron. And so, an excellent job by Cookie Monster stopping that Baron.
And even more so, that just is amazing for Silver Scrapes that because the Baron was so low, Cookie Monster didn't just walk in and take it themselves. They didn't have the jungler, so it wouldn't have been easy. Would have been still a risk, but at the same time, I mean, the Baron was underneath, I believe, 2,000 health. May have been well worth it.
It was, if I had been on the Rift, I would have gone for it.
This is why we are not pros. That being said, neither is anyone in this game, so nothing to be worried about.
We did have TSM double lift earlier, though.
Yes, this is true. We had Double Lift, who's not Double Lift, but is Double Lift, playing in the game, so I suppose one could argue that we've had pros. And we had Master One join the first game for a short period of time. Don't know if he'll be back. Most likely not, because I don't believe that he followed. However, Pyre is now moving towards the mid lane to try to defend with this Anivia. It really has become kind of a siege game. You've got Jinx on one side and Anivia on the other, and whoever can clear the mini waves and push a lane faster is the one that's going to be able to get consistent damage on the enemy team's turret. Reeves over the wall, prepping for the ultimate, uses it as well, locking up several members. Have they stunned them? And the beautiful play picks up two, but Mundo comes in, steals it away. The jungle Mundo is here, and that's going to give Ezreal a kill onto Jinx as well. Cookie Monster has eaten the enemy team, destroyed them, taken out 4. Garen, the only one left alive. And now with the Baron buff that Commander C was able to steal, they're moving through the mid lane to easily pick up one turret. More than likely, they might start to knock on the inhibitor turrets as well.
5v1. And that's the ace.
Yeah,
Tanked
clean moves from Cookie Monster, moving in. They were able to finish off an ace onto the Garen, and now moving in onto the inhibitor turrets. They're going to take that one as well as the inhibitor following shortly afterwards. So with some good macro play and great positioning, especially Anivia getting the 2-man stun on the jungler inside the Baron pit, throwing down the ultimate and then locking them in with the wall. Knows the limits of the character. Movement flashes in, knocks up 4, able to steal them, and that is Silver Scrapes cleaning up 2, cleaning up 3. This might be a full team ace. They do ace Cookie Monster inside their own base, though Amumu had to sacrifice his life to make it happen.
That was a complete overstay by Cookie Monster. They could have taken the inhib and walked away. They had the death timers on Jinx and Morgana. Both came up at the exact same time as the wave began to crash into the Nexus towers. And they pay for it with an ace.
Yep, Phantom of Temp in the bottom lane, trying to push out, pinging onto the dragon that is going to be spawning in the near future. Let's go ahead and check very briefly on it as it actually finishes spawning, so don't even have to check on it. Mountain Drake, Jinx destroys that mid lane turret solo, and now moving in with the Morgana onto the Mountain Drake. Have to be careful as Cookie Monster has respawned now.
Cookie Monster has respawned, and Morgana's going up to ward to make sure that this is safe, but it does look like they're going to have it. Now, Cookie Monster is going to get vision on it, but just a little bit too late as Jinx does manage to finish it off.
Yep,
interesting buff glitch there.
Taking that out. Blue buff going to go over to Reeves unless the Scion accidentally steals it, which I've done on a couple too many occasions. But 4 Drakes on the side of Silver Scrapes. 52,000 to 54,000, down about 2,000, but up in about 3 kills But as always, it does come down to that goal. Do you have the stronger items that will allow you to win those team fights?
And while they don't have the stronger items, they do have, like you mentioned, those 4 Drakes. I don't know if I'm
Scion charging in, can't be disabled, slows down, no free names. Is it going to be the full fight, though? Trying to set it up, he's down to half health, and Nivea getting some good CC over the wall. Silver Scrapes in trouble. Jinky Toast, though, going to be taken out, and the resets have started for the Jinx. She's got the rockets going, should be able to pick up one more, but the shield and the wall from Nivea, that's enough to hold it for a moment. Able to still pick up the Scion. That's 2 quick more kills. It might be a pentakill. All she needs is to finish off the Nivea, and Sammy moves in onto Commander C, who just wants to finish off the turret before he goes down. One more auto attack should be enough, cleans it up. Jinx was able to pick up the Nivea, so it could have been a pentakill as the Jinx was on a late quadra, but nope, it had to be Sammy stealing away the penta as they're going to move in onto the second tier top turret.
They're going to move on to the second tier top turret. And just as I was beginning to say, they may not want to take a fight. They take one and they crush the fight.
Yep, and now they're going to crush down this top lane second tier turret. No neutral objectives on the map for them to run to. Instead, it's just going to be these turrets. They may be able to get some good damage onto the second one as well, though, and it's already going to fall. I mean, that's just impressive. Silver Scrapes now. Sammy focused onto the inhibitor, trying to do some damage to the rest of the Cookie Monster, taking out the Scion, who in zombie form still does no damage to Sammy. This guy is just unbelievably tanky.
And a big part of this right now is, there's the engage.
Yeah, Assault and Battery goes in onto Jinx, but Earth has not been taken out just yet. Pyre gets him over the wall with some nice plays. Jinky Toe's still going to fall. I think Minions finished the Vi off. And root onto Mundo, squelches the rest of the engage from Cookie Monster. So you're going to have to back out and play safe. Now, once again, missing the top lane inhibitor. Very similar to the sword we saw last game.
And that almost ended very, very badly, as in ended the game by Cookie Monster. They started to funnel into that fight one at a time against a Jinx sitting on an Infinity Edge, a Rapid Fire Cannon, and a Runin's Hurricane. That could have ended very poorly. Fortunately, they did manage to get the Assault and Battery off and get the CC down to keep her under control. But if that Assault and Battery doesn't go off, that could be the game right there. Walk it in one at a time like that against that Jinx.
Mundo becoming incredibly strong. Thornmail, Spirit Visage finished up, as well as continuing to stack extra armor and magic resist. Mostly it is all about that 11 and 5, 6 Jinx. 4 items completed: Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire, Runes, and the Bloodthirster. Now, Runes doesn't work quite as well as it used to, so you can't stack the crits when you are in that rocket form. But it's still a very strong item and still a very strong champion, as you can send out those individual rockets just to other surrounding either people or minions. But 28 kills, 220, only 3,000 gold in the lead. Silver Scrapes feeling good, but not feeling good enough to end the game quite yet, as we now breach the 35-minute mark in this game.
We reached that 35-minute mark, and look in your top left corner there. You've got Baron respawning in 45 seconds and Elder Drake coming up in 1:50.
Need to have vision around those buffs. Silver Scrapes have done a great job of warding up the top side of this jungle. Sammy just sneaks out. The wall a little bit too far up means that he can stay. That would have been really, really bad if the main tank of Silver Scrapes was to fall.
Yeah, fortunately that main tank is still up for Silver Scrapes. Able to just walk up, take a tower shot, and walk right back out.
Yep, and that's part of the issue and the difficulty for Silver Scrapes trying to siege in on this turret, is that the Anivia is so good at wave clear, they just haven't been able to get the minion wave to the actual turret itself so that they can start, so they can just defend it easier.
Well, and while Cookie Monster's sitting here in mid lane clearing that, top lane you've got super minions coming in.
Time is on the side of Silver Scrapes. Dark Binding down onto Straight Jacket. Not too concerned. The damage from Morgana still lacking, as it is that support Morgana, not an AP Morgana. But 5 members here are just going to continue to hold. Ezreal is going to show himself in the top lane. That may be the trigger for Silver Scrapes to go in.
That should be the trigger now. Olivia does do a great wall placement to keep them from really being able to funnel into that fight. Lots of snares going down on Scion right now.
Yeah, straight jacket, just trying to tank it up, and I think he might even be a little bit AFK if he's hyping it out, but the assault and battery goes down. 3 members are here, all 5 from Silver Scrapes. I think the Scion may be going out. There he is, finally walking away, and that's going to be Jinx with the Quadra. Is it the pentakill? That's the question. I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm not sure. That might have been an unofficial pentakill. I'm not positive. Did anyone catch who killed the last member of Cookie Monster? The Jinx did not get, but even still,
Garen
Quadra
got
killed.
the buy. Garen got the kill on the buy.
Oh, Garen, you
so
sneaky
again,
monster.
Sammy steals the penta, but that is the game.
Wow, that is a very fast finish. Silver Scrapes gets the one fight that they needed, and immediately with the Jinx and Garen just decimate. That game went from a lot of siege and slow poking to a fight and the end of the game within 2 minutes as soon as that fight finishes.
Well, and it's like we were talking about before in the pregame, that Jinx is something that's just going to come through and smash if you don't keep it under control. Nitos tried to make the play with the assault and battery to take it out and take the Jinx, stop the Jinx from keeping that snowball going, and it just did not work. They managed to peel Jinx off, kill Jinx before she could get any additional damage off once she was in, and then that was all she wrote because that put Jinx on the Jinx Excited. One of the things I saw there was that Ezreal actually, if you're watching, Lord Reeves started to fall back on Anivia because he was low. Ezreal arcane shifted into right next to Anivia while a rocket was in flight, and so the rocket actually popped the egg on Lord Reeves from the splash damage there too, which is why they were missing a lot of their damage through most of that fight because their damage died.
Yep, eventually it just doesn't work out in the end. So Cookie Monster is going to fall, and Silver Scrapes is going to be the winner for the third and final game of the night. Mummy's so good, says Rezdra. Indeed, the Amumu did show up, and especially twice, being able to flash in and get that ultimate on several members. He hit 4 people inside of his own base the one time that the Cookie Monsters did try to push in. But no free names, playing very, very well. But it was really, I think, in this game, this time around, about Sammy. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and roll through the MVPs and honorable mentions for the losing team, Cookie Monster. What are your thoughts, Salic? Give it away.
Oh, losing side, it was a solid performance from a lot of them. I mean, they almost pulled off the game. If they hadn't overstayed that one time in the mid lane, that probably would have been an easy win on their part, if I had to guess. As far as the MVPs go, I got to give it to the Ezreal, to be honest. Paiute on that Ezreal just did a lot of work, put in a lot of solid work to try and keep the Jinx down in the early game. It ended up not going in the favor towards the end game. We were talking about the scaling. We were talking about what happens when that Jinx gets that first kill in a team fight if you don't take her out first. And in the end, a lot of the time that Jinx was able to stay alive, get that first kill, and just get rolling from that. But still, Paiute did a great job in that, so I got to give the MVP to him. Lord Reeves is going to get my honorable mention on this one. Did a great job stalling out with the wave clear on Anivia. Of course, that's what Anivia is designed to do. Get the waves cleared out so that you can keep pushing or just stall out the game as long as you can. Unfortunately, they just got hit by so much of the CC from Silver Scrapes that it just ended up tearing them apart.
And that's it. Really, it was stalling the game and stalling the game and stalling the game. But that last team fight did not go in their favor. And sometimes that happens. Don't get too lost in just the grind of farming, the grind of playing safe, the grind of slowly pushing forward. Pay attention and keep an eye on when the opportunity for the engage arrives. And when it happens, late game team fight, you can get a 3, 4, 5 man and win the game just off of that. It ended so fast after that team fight went down. For the winning team of Silver Scrapes, I mean, all of these members did pretty darn well. I'm going to give honorable mention to Rito Please Add Earth just for the overall positioning. Died 5 times but had 15 kills. Really could sense how to switch back and forth, which is the most critical thing, between the Gatling gun and the rocket launcher. Because it's so hard to time when you can make those moves, when you can play from a distance or get that Gatling gun auto attack. You can have all of the items in your inventory that you want, but if you're only auto attacking once every 3, 4, 5 seconds, you're not going to be doing that much damage. But instead, able to kite, able to reposition, did a very good job. But I've got to give MVP over to Sakura Sammy. I mean, this Garen was just unkillable, unstoppable, everything. And early game, mid game, late game, just continued to show the power of what a Garen, when played right, can do. Not only shut down Jinkitos so hard in the early game that Jinx, the Vi, had almost no farm and couldn't do much, but also was rotate between lanes and rotate to other things very quickly to add to where other people may not be super strong. Thank you, Casey Yun 112 for the follow. Appreciate that a lot. And hopefully you can join in future games as well on future Tuesdays. You played in game number 2, I believe, as you were not in this game here. But we are going to do, for those of you who are still sticking around, there's about 15 of you. I guess 12 of you, actually, is the current live viewer count. We are going to do a $10 RP giveaway, make life really easy for you. I didn't want to super hard advertise it. I mean, the more people that are hanging out, the fewer people that are hanging out, the more likely one of you guys are going to get it. And so this is given to you guys who stick around and who actually participate for the entire thing, as well as just a mini celebration for reaching the 400 followers, which is pretty darn exciting. So let's active users in the past 15 minutes. There's got to be, if I do 15 minutes, there's going to be somebody that I don't know. Mods are eligible. Everyone's eligible. Okay, there we go. RP giveaway, was not expecting that. Well, Resdra, I did say earlier, as soon as we hit that 400 followers after game 2, we were going to do a $10 RP giveaway. But, yep, Vitey, I didn't want to advertise it on the stream as a whole because there are a ton of people that come in just to follow, try to get RP, and then leave and unfollow. And that's not necessarily the crowd that I'm trying to bring in or the community that I'm trying to build. So instead, this is just, I do give RP giveaways, surprise, you know. All right, you guys ready? I'm going to do a countdown until I do the giveaway. So if you, I think, what is this? It's just active users. I don't think you have to even be following. I hope you're following. We're just going to do active user. How about that? Regulars, subscribers, and ordinary users. I don't know. It's weird. Ready to lose? I will find out. I think you've won before, haven't you? Embedded page.
Just won one.